You all a happy, fantastic Friday. So, a very good afternoon to all. So, yesterday, do you remember what session we have uh, so far visited? It's nothing but the human nervous system. And in that human nervous system, we have studied about various types of neurons and what is the structure of neuron, and then what is the central nervous system, and then what are the different types of nervous system we have, isn't it? And then what is the uh, parts of the human brain. Okay, so now today in our class we are going to concentrate in the human brain, and then mainly it is the forebrain I am going to concentrate, and then midbrain and the hindbrain. Okay, so forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. I already taught you what are the components of the forebrain. It is nothing but the cerebrum, diencephalon, and which is having the dorsal thalamus and then ventral hypothalamus. And what is the midbrain? Midbrain has the corpora quadrigemina, and we will see in detail about the midbrain also in today's session. And then we will learn about the hindbrain also. They are the cerebellum, pons and the medulla oblongata. Okay, come, let us see the human brain first, the central nervous system. Yeah, so now here is the central nervous system. Okay, so this is the human nervous system has three types of nervous system. There's a central nervous system, peripheral nervous system and the autonomous nervous system. So today we are going to focus on the central nervous system, which consists of the brain, okay, and the spinal cord, and particularly the subtopic today is the human brain. Okay, so look at this picture. This is the human brain. Understood? So this human brain has many parts in it. Okay, so we will see one by one what are the parts present in the human brain. Okay, so look at the first part. It is the corpus callosum. It is the corpus callosum, and it also has the ventricle, and then you will have the midbrain. You have forebrain, midbrain and hindbrain. I said no, so the midbrain, and then you have cerebellum is the hindbrain, and you have the brain stem, which is continuous as the spinal cord. Okay, so now if you look at this midbrain, the midbrain is between the thalamus and the hindbrain. Is that clear? And the next is, we have seen about the forebrain. No, the forebrain is the major part of the human brain. Is the cerebrum is the largest part we can see. So it occupies 2/3 of the brain. Okay, 2/3 size of the brain is the cerebrum, and it is the foremost brain in the human nervous system. And then you have the hypothalamus. This hypothalamus, it will be at the base of the thalamus. Okay, in between the thalamus and hindbrain only you have the midbrain. Just now I told you. Okay, so at the base of the thalamus you have hypothalamus, and below that you have the pituitary. This is the pituitary gland. What is pituitary gland? You have heard about the pituitary gland in your class 8 itself. What are they? They are the endocrine glands. Yes, good. So these are the endocrine glands. What they will do? They will secrete a chemical called what? Hormones. Yes. So these are the hormones which will be secreted day to day life, daily, each and every minute. These hormones will be secreted for various purposes in the living organisms, isn't it? Yeah, without hormones nothing is happening in the living organisms. These hormones are made the living organism. Because of them only we do live. Okay, life is possible, we can say in simple way. Okay, and then below the pituitary gland we have the pons. Okay, so these are the pons, We will see all these parts in detail in today's session. Okay, and the hindbrain also contains the medulla oblongata. That's the medulla I gave you. So this is the entire human brain, I can say. Okay, if you look at that structure, you will be able to understand clearly. You have corpus callosum, you have ventricles, then you have the cerebrum. The two-thirds of the brain is occupied with the largest cerebrum, that's the forebrain, and you have the hypothalamus, and then you have the pituitary gland, and then pons, medulla, and then in the midbrain it is between the thalamus and the hindbrain, and you have the hindbrain which consists of cerebellum and the pons and the medulla. These three are the hindbrain, and you have the brainstem which is continuous from the human brain, major part. Okay, so now this is actually the class 10 science. Okay, this class 10 guys who are from promoted from 9th standard to class 10. Okay, so this video will be useful for you people. You can even share this video among your friend circle, among your relatives, those who are in class 10 now. Okay, they are going to write the board exam in 2025 to 26. You can share these videos, it will be useful for them. Okay, and even I have posted some worksheets also in this fancy artist channel. You can even subscribe for more videos. You can go into the channel and you can view my videos also. And then for 6, 7, 8 level also I have posted some experimental science videos, so it will be very useful for them. Please subscribe my channel and share and support me. Okay, so if you people are class 10 guys, for you only this live session is going on. Okay, if you have any doubts, please comment me. A very good afternoon. A very good afternoon. Okay, who's that? Ananda. Who's that? I don't know the name. A very good afternoon to everybody. Okay, now, so this is about the human brain, the outline with the parts we have studied now. Okay, and then next we are going to concentrate. So that is step by step human brain. Okay, so come, let's see the first part, the foremost part of the human brain, which occupies the two-thirds of the human brain, is known as the cerebrum. So the cerebrum is the forebrain, and also we have diencephalon in the forebrain. Okay, so the diencephalon only having the dorsal thalamus and the ventral hypothalamus. I told you just now. See, it is the hypothalamus is there, and thalamus, it is the dorsal side. It is the ventral view I have given here. The dorsal side will be having the thalamus. And the next we look at into the cerebrum. The cerebrum, if you see the longitudinal view of the cerebrum, no, it will be having two hemispheres like this. Actually, if you look at the brain, no, it looks like a somewhat slight sphere. Okay, so if you see the both sides of the cerebrum, the longitudinal division of the cerebrum will be right and left cerebral hemispheres will be there, and they have been separated from each other by a median cleft. Not separated, divided. It's not separated, it's divided by a median cleft. Okay, and then they are also interconnected. They have been divided, but they have been interconnected with each other. Okay, so that interconnection is nothing but the corpus callosum. What is that? Corpus callosum. It's a thick band of nerve fibers which are which connect the both right and left cerebral hemispheres. Understood? So first, what I said, the cerebrum, which is having a longitudinal division, right and the left cerebral hemisphere is having, and it is having a middle division that's known as the median cleft, and this median cleft is also connecting this right and left cerebral hemispheres by a corpus callosum, which is a thick band of nerve fibers. Is it clear? And then, and the cerebrum, the outermost part of the cerebrum is mainly covered with a gray matter. What is the gray matter? During the type of nerve fibers, I said about the gray matter and white matter, and during yesterday's session also we have seen about the gray matter and white matter. If you are continuously coming to the live session, you will definitely comment me, you will definitely answer. Okay, so what's the gray matter and white matter? You come out with your answers. Okay, you can comment me also. Okay, those who are in the live along with me. So if you see the gray matter, it's nothing but the cerebral cortex, which covers the cerebrum, the outer covering of the cerebrum, we can say, and that inner covering of the cerebrum, which I have showed you with a green, light green color, that is the white matter. Okay, so this white matter only cerebral medulla. Okay, it is a cerebral medulla, and it is mainly the thalamus signaling. It's mainly doing the thalamus signaling process. Okay, and not only that, that is sensory and motor signaling, so that it acts as a relay center. We can say this white matter, which is known as the cerebral medulla, it acts as a relay center. Relay center means what? Yesterday I told you during the neurotransmitters, we studied about the sensory and the motor signaling. Yes, we will receive the stimulus through our sensory organs, the receptors, and it has been transmitted. Transmitted means what? Carried to the central nervous system, and it is the reply, the respond, the central nervous system which sends, no, is again reaching the motor nerves. So this relay center, the signal relay, is happening through the central cerebral medulla, through the thalamus. Okay, and the next is, we have seen about the cerebral cortex, that is nothing but the gray matter, isn't it? So this gray matter, if you see, no, it is extremely folded. It is sorry, it is extremely folded. Okay, how it will be folded? Like up and down, up and down. Okay, that will be the peak and then depression, peak and depression, like that. If it is the elevated peak, means it is known as the gyri, and the depression means it is called the sulci. So I have given you that gyri and sulci. If you see this, the elevated peak, of the cerebral cortex is the gyri, and then the depression of the cerebral cortex is known as the sulci. So this gyri and sulci only, what they will do, they will increase the surface area of the cortex. They will increase the surface area of the cerebral cortex, so that sometimes it will expand and sometimes it may shrink. Okay, like that, it will increase the surface area. This gyri and sulci, they are mainly the elevations and depressions of cerebral cortex, so that they may increase the surface area of the cerebral cortex. This is about the cerebrum. Okay, hope you would have understood about the forebrain. What is the forebrain? The forebrain has the cerebrum and the diencephalon. If you see the cerebrum, the longitudinal division of the cerebrum is divided into two hemispheres. What are they? Right and the left hemispheres. The right and the left hemispheres, and they have a division known as the median cleft. And apart from that, these two hemispheres are interconnected with the nerve fibers of thick band, that's known as the corpus callosum. Okay, and apart from this, the outer covering of the cerebrum is made up of the gray matter. What is gray matter and white matter is the homework for you today's class. Okay, I explained about the gray matter and white matter in my last two video live session. So you go to that video and you find out the answer and come out for the tomorrow session. Okay, and then you can comment me also. And then here the gray matter is nothing but the cerebral cortex, whereas the white matter, the inner matter, is known as the cerebral medulla, and the cerebral medulla is going to govern the sensory and the motor signaling, that going to act as the relay center. Cerebral medulla is the relay center. Okay, and the next, apart from the cerebral medulla, you have the cortex. No, this cortex, no, it will be folded up and down. Elevations will be there and depressions will be there. These elevations are nothing but the gyri, and the depressions are nothing but the sulci. Okay, this is about the cerebrum, the forebrain. Am I clear? So please comment me if you have any doubts in this live session, so that I can improve myself also while explanation. And the next is, and up the lost cerebrum, no, apart from that they also have the inner divisions, internal divisions like lobes. So what are the four lobes? They are the frontal lobes, they are the parietal lobes, they are the temporal lobes, and the occipital lobes. See, all these lobes, no, they have specific functions. So these specific functions is not given at this level for class 10. So just you learn whether they are specific in their function. If this specific function is affected, means what happens? The lobes are not functioning properly. That's the reason the lobes are not functioning, we can see. Okay, but the specific function is not necessary at this level for you people. When you go to the higher classes, you may come across with that. Okay, so now the cerebrum also has the internal divisions like a frontal lobes, parietal, temporal, and the occipital lobes. Is it clear? And then that's what each cerebral hemisphere is divided on both sides internally. Okay, and next, what is the function of the cerebrum? Right now we have studied about the structure, what are the parts, what is it doing, in what and all it is involved. Now we are going to see the main function of the cerebrum, the forebrain. For what we need? We humans will think, no, we many of us are intelligence, most of us are intelligence, genius, and then most of us are conscious, and most of us have a high memory. Yeah, and then many of you have good imagination, and then many will have reasoning skills, okay, logical thinking skills. And then many of them will have more willpower. So all this, no, this thinking, intelligence, consciousness, memory, imagination, reasoning, willpower, all these are controlled by the cerebrum. Yeah, if your cerebrum is good, all these qualities will be good for a particular individual. Okay, so am I clear? Okay, now this is about the function. Okay, your thinking part, your intelligent part, your consciousness part, your memory part, your imagination, reasoning, willpower, everything which is playing the major role for all these activities. Cerebrum, your forebrain. Okay, so you have to be very smart enough to do any activity, means your cerebrum should work properly, your cerebrum, your forebrain should work properly. So for your proper brain functioning, we need essential fatty acids, isn't it? Yesterday I told in my class what is the essential fatty acid, why it is called so. Why it is called so? Because these fatty acids are not synthesized in our body, it should be fed through our food. Okay, and I told you about what are the foods which are rich in essential fatty acids, which is very essential for the proper functioning of the brain. They are the fish, almonds, and so on. So if you have any doubt, go through the previous live session link which I will share along with this video. Okay, so next is we are going to see about the hypothalamus. What is the hypothalamus? Where it is present? It lies at the base of the thalamus, I told you. Okay, it is the hypothalamus. So for each and every part I have I have given the brain structure, and then only that part I will point so that you will understand better. Okay, so now in this I have pointed only the hypothalamus. So where it will be, where it is present, it lies at the base of the thalamus. Okay, and then what is its function? Your involuntary functions. What are the involuntary functions? Can you say what are the involuntary functions? Yeah, you can comment me. So involuntary functions and voluntary functions are two types of functions are there. What is voluntary? With your knowledge, you know it's going to happen. You are doing. It's the voluntary. What are the involuntary functions? Without your knowledge, your body is functioning, no? Without your knowledge, your heart beats. Without your knowledge, your blood vessels flow. take the food, take the nutrition, take the waste material from one part to another part. Your heart function, your lungs breathe. Okay, your brain think. Sometimes without your knowledge your brain will be thinking no to do the body activities, to do the metabolism inside the body of the living organism. Drowsy, you go to sleep, isn't it? So that's the most of the involuntary functions are governed by the hypothalamus. Okay, and the hypothalamus is going to act as a temperature control area, that is a thermoregulatory center. Okay, and not only that, it controls the secretion of hormones because it is connected with the pituitary gland, okay, in the brain function. Okay, because this nervous system and endocrine system have a link, because only if the brain sends a signal to the endocrine system, the hormone will secrete. Yeah, how the signal happens, we studied in the nerve impulse. Yeah, if you see a snake, immediately you are running away from that place, you get scared. What is the hormone secreted in that place? It is the adrenal, your emergency hormone. Yeah, either you will face the situation, you will fight, or you will fly. Your fight or fly situation will happen. How do this happens? Because of the instruction given from the nervous system brain to the pituitary gland, and this pituitary gland give instruction to the hypothalamus to secrete the gland, and this adrenal will be secreted, and this adrenal will come and play its role. Yeah, so that the controls the secretion of hormones is under the control of hypothalamus. Okay, that mainly from the anterior pituitary, and it's an important link between the nervous system and the endocrine system. Am I clear? Please comment me if I am teaching for your better understanding. Please let me know, then only I can have more energy, because my video is being observed by many people are watching, so that it will be a boost for me to improve myself also. Please comment me. Okay, don't come and get in and go away simply. Okay, so this is about the hypothalamus. Okay, next we are going to see about the midbrain. So far we have studied about the forebrain. What is the forebrain? In the recap we will discuss again. What is the forebrain? What is its function? Just now we have saw about the cerebrum and the hypothalamus, isn't it? Now we are going to see about the midbrain. See, your brain has 3 parts and each part is performing its own function. Yeah, compared to us, our brain is more brilliant, no? That's why the brain is a central processing unit, we can say, like a CPU in a computer system. Yeah, so if you say the midbrain, it is already I told you during the starting itself, between the thalamus and the hindbrain there is a place called midbrain, and then the dorsal portion of this brain only will consist of 4 rounded bodies. What are they? I told you it is nothing but the corpora quadrigemina. Okay, it is nothing but the rounded bodies, 4 rounded bodies. Okay, and it controls the visual and auditory reflexes. It controls visual and auditory reflexes. That means what? Your vision and your hearing. Reflex. What is reflex? There is a reflex arc in the human nervous system that only plays the major role during the sensational situation, like your sensory receptors when they come and play role there, this reflexes only will come and play the role. That we will see in the tomorrow's session, what is reflex arc. Okay, okay, this is about the midbrain. Okay, next we will see about the hindbrain. What's the hindbrain is doing? The hindbrain is may consist of 3 parts. What are they? It's nothing but the cerebellum, pons, and the medulla oblongata. Okay, if you see this, what is this? Cerebellum, pons, and the medulla oblongata. Okay, Now let me explain what is cerebellum, what is pons, what is medulla oblongata. So far we have studied about the forebrain, we have studied about the midbrain. Now we are in the last part of the brain, that is known as the cerebellum, which consists of three parts, your pons and the medulla oblongata. Okay. So now let me explain the cerebellum. Let me explain the cerebellum. Look at this. The cerebellum consists of the second largest part. So it is the, in the human brain, the cerebellum is the second largest part. Okay, the first largest part is cerebrum. Okay, the cerebrum occupies 2/3 of the human brain, whereas the cerebellum, it occupies the small part. That's the second largest part, we can say. Okay, and it has two large hemispheres. Like cerebrum we studied, no, they have two hemispheres, like right and left. Here also it has the two large hemispheres, and it has the middle vermis. Okay, and what it will do, it will coordinate voluntary function, voluntary movements or voluntary actions, and maintain the body balance. Your body balance, no, you are having a balance in your body. You are standing erect, you are able to stand, you are able to do your work, you are able to take a, if I say take that pen, if I say take that pen, I am taking. So it is the volunteer, that is the, I am giving instruction to the body through the brain. So the brain is sending the information through the cerebellum part. So the voluntary actions or the movements, no, with our knowledge we are doing, no, that is mainly controlled by cerebellum. Okay, so now if we take the next part is the pons. Okay, so the pons are nothing but this part is known as the pons. What it will do, it is mainly a bridge between the lobes of cerebellum. Okay, it forms a bridge between the lobes of the cerebellum, and not only that, it also relays signals like your medulla, that is cerebral medulla. Cerebral medulla relays signals, no, relay center between the sensory and the motor signal. Similarly, here the pons also, they relay signals between the cerebellum, spinal cord, midbrain, and the cerebrum. That means what? You are all the fore, mid, and the hindbrain, everything involved along with the spinal cord. Okay, so this also relays signals. And not only that, what is this main function? Now we are breathing. Yes or no? Yeah. You take in oxygen, you give out carbon dioxide. At the same time, the food which you ate is digested, and it has been converted into glucose. This oxygen, the glucose give you energy. Yeah, you breathe, you get energy from the food which you have ate. Yeah, so all this respiration process is being controlled by the pons. Okay, and your sleep cycle, you sleep, no, during night or any other time when you feel drowsy, or when your body needs rest, all your bodies needs rest, and that body parts, so that time you will sleep. So the sleep cycle is also controlled by the pons. Your body balance is controlled by the cerebellum. Okay, whereas the pons, it will control the sleep cycle. Okay, it regulates, we can say that. Okay, so this is about the cerebellum and the pons. Next we will move to the medulla oblongata, the last part of the hindbrain. What is this medulla oblongata will do, where it is present? It is the posterior most part which connects the spinal cord. So it is the posterior most part of the brain, hindbrain. So from there only the spinal cord will form, and it will be continued till the last end of the vertebral column. And then from the spinal cord, all the other nerve fibers also will run all over the body. Okay, na? So, and various parts of the brain and spinal cord. Next, what it will do, it has three functions, we can say. Medulla oblongata, it controls the cardiac center, it controls the respiratory center, it also controls the vasomotor center. What are they? Cardiac means, the term cardiac is related to heart. The term respiratory means it is related to your respiration, and your vasomotor means it is related to vaso means blood vessels. So your blood vessels, all these are controlled by the medulla oblongata. Okay, so you have the medulla oblongata controls the heartbeat, your respiration, and your contraction of blood vessels. Clear? Not only this function, it also has the function to regulate the vomiting and salivation. Okay, so this is about the medulla oblongata structure, position, and its function. Okay, next we are going to see about what is the EEG. What is EEG? EEG means what? Have you heard about this? EEG is electroencephalogram. What's that? Electroencephalogram. EEG. What it will do? It will record the electric impulse of the brain. So it's an instrument. It is used in the hospitals to record the electric impulse of the brain. Okay, so what it will do, it will detect the abnormalities of the brain waves. So our brain know it, the brain functioning is recorded in the form of waves. If you have seen in your hospitals, no, if any of your relatives were admitted due to this brain function, they will observe their brain function through the waves. That's known as the PQ that is PQRSTU waves, they may say. So these waves, no, mainly the brain specialists, they will understand how it function, and based on that they will say the report, they will diagnose the diseases, brain diseases, either it any injury in the head part, whether it is any serious conditions, they will say based on this, in that is the waves which has been recorded by the instrument known as the electroencephalogram, mainly to detect your brain function. Am I clear? So if you have any doubts, please let me know. Okay, so now I am going to recollect all the concepts. Okay, now coming back from the beginning, what is the today's session we started? We started with the human nervous system. Mainly the human nervous system consists of three parts. We already know that in my previous video I have given central, peripheral, and autonomous, and I will share the previous live session videos also along with this live session. Okay, please go through those videos also for your better understanding. And we studied about the main parts of the brain. It has the forebrain, that is the cerebrum, and you have the hypothalamus in the forebrain. Then it has been linked with the pituitary gland. And what is the midbrain? It has between the thalamus and the hindbrain. And you have the corpus callosum. This is the corpus callosum. And then we have the ventricles present in the brain. And your hindbrain part is the cerebellum, pons, and the medulla. And your brain is continuous with the brainstem along with the spinal cord. Is it clear? And we have already seen all the parts in detail, and again I am giving a recap for this session. So your cerebrum has the longitudinal division. It has both right and left cerebral hemisphere by a median cleft division, and these two cerebral hemispheres are interconnected with the nerve fibers, that's known as the corpus callosum. And your cerebrum is covered with the gray matter and inner white matter. This gray matter is known as the cerebral cortex, and the white matter, matter, is known as the cerebral medulla. So the cerebral cortex will have the gyri and sulci, that is upper elevations is gyri and the lower depression is the sulci. This mainly increases the surface cerebral cortex. And this white matter, I told you, it is cerebral medulla, going to act as the relay center. It controls the signaling, okay, thymus signaling and the sensory and motor signaling, so it acts as the relay center. This is about the cerebrum. And it, apart from this, the cerebrum internal hemispheres also have four divisions like frontal lobes, parietal, temporal, and occipital. All these will have the specific functions. Each cerebral hemispheres, all these lobes. Okay, they have specific function. And then what are the functions of the cerebrum? Your forebrain only is very essential for all these activities. Your thinking, your intelligence, your memory, your imagination, consciousness, reasoning, willpower, everything is being controlled by your cerebrum, forebrain. As it, next we have seen about the hypothalamus. This hypothalamus is the one which is like at the base of the thalamus, and it controls the involuntary functions. Okay, it controls the involuntary functions, and also it's a thermoregulatory center, means it is the temperature regulatory center. And not only that, it also controls the secretion of hormones from the anterior pituitary and as a link between nervous system and the endocrine system. So, in general, we can say your nervous and endocrine are interrelated. Only if the endocrine get the signal or instruction from the brain, then only it will secrete the hormones for various activities in the living organism, mainly in human being. Okay, so these are the functions of the hypothalamus. And next, we have studied about the midbrain. So this midbrain is the one which is having the place between the thalamus and the hindbrain. Okay, and then the dorsal portion of this brain consists of rounded bodies called, what is that? Corpora quadrigemina, that controls your vision and the auditory reflexes. Okay, that is your vision and your hearing power. That's mainly controlled by the hypothalamus. And your hindbrain has the three parts. It is cerebellum, pons, and the medulla oblongata. Okay, so now let me explain the cerebellum. What is the main? It is the second largest part of the brain, and it has two large hemispheres and middle vermis. And what is its main function? Your voluntary movements are controlled and body balance is being coordinated by the cerebellum. And what is the function of pons? Pons mainly it is a bridge between the lobes of cerebellum, and it relays the signals between your all the fore, mid, and the hindbrain and the spinal cord. And apart from that, it controls your respiration and sleep cycle. So each part of the brain has different function. Have you seen now? Your cerebrum is have more function towards your thinking, imagination, memory, everything, intelligence, consciousness. When you talk to a person, you will be very conscious. When you sleep, your brain will be working in the subconscious level. So all these are controlled by the cerebrum. Whereas the other activities like your involuntary actions are controlled by the hypothalamus, your voluntary action is controlled by the cerebellum. See, the brain divided all the functions among themselves into each compartment. Like in your school, how your different subject teachers have different compartments, different departments. From there they will come and teach you. Science teacher will from the science department, social science teacher from the social department, like that. Literature people will teach English and Tamil. Yeah, IT department max, like that. So the brain have different departments, so that these departments will function in their own way, and they have specificity in their function. Okay, so your pons only controls the respiration and sleep cycle. And next is medulla oblongata, where it is present. It is the posterior most part. This is the part, and it is continuous as a spinal cord, and it has three centers. It controls the heart, which controls the respiration process, which controls the contraction of blood vessels, and then it also regulates the vomiting and salivation. Mainly the medulla oblongata, your hindbrain. Okay, and the next is electroencephalogram, is an instrument which is used to detect the electrical impulse of the brain through the waves obtained. The doctors, they will arrive at the conclusion of the treatment, then they give accordingly records. Okay, so that's what we studied in this session. Hope you like this video. If you have any doubts, please comment me. And then if you want to join my online class also, we can join. It's a one-to-one coaching class. If you want to join this, please contact this email ID for all these classes, and you can also share and subscribe my channel. Thank you. We'll see you in the next live class. Bye bye.
Yeah, surprise for you.